and welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Patrick Dewar. My guest today, Michael Mays. You're going to enjoy this show. Several years ago, Mike started with the Bombay Company, actually in 1986, as somebody that would design, develop, and implement point of sale at a enterprise level. So he's been real familiar with technology for over 23 years. And now what he does is he takes his knowledge of how to maximize a person's tools that they have in their company and make their company even more profitable. So Mike, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
I want to get right into your story. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do and how it all got started.
Well, I appreciate that. We're really focused on partner businesses, companies that want to work with us. We don't want to work just for them. We want to work with them. And the bottom line is helping them succeed by getting the most out of technology. Technology is a tool. It's like any other thing that you have. We want to make sure companies are able to maximize the investment they have in that technology. Ultimately, the goal is to profit from it, to positively impact the bottom line. And we show companies how to really strive for that and focus on that, such as they get that return from their technology.
Now, what are a couple of types of companies that you've helped? Because when I sit there and I hear technology is an ether. It's a big ball of fog, okay? So clear the fog. Give us a couple of examples.
Great question. And it's interesting now, technology has penetrated so many different areas. We do rely on it every day. In fact, there aren't really companies out there that don't rely on technology.
Absolutely.
However, the companies that we typically work with are in different industries, but professional services industries, CPA firms, law firms are prevalent. Even nonprofits. We work quite a bit with nonprofits. And some say, nonprofits, they don't have money to spend on technology. But let's face it, every company now has a budget line item for technology now. Also, community banks is another successful area we've had. But at the end of the day, it's not so much the industry, it's more of companies that want to make sure and get that return on their technology dollar.
So, what I'm trying to clarify, it sounds like you guys do everything from the PC to the cloud and kind of everywhere in between, or how much of that space do you actually dominate?
When it comes to the PC to the cloud, it's a great point because technology, even as we've sat here, technology's been changing.
Right.
At the same time, the cloud, that you're talking about that ether, a lot of people still don't understand what the cloud means. In fact, if you ask 10 different people, what does the cloud mean, you're going to get probably 20 different answers. Truth be told, though, taking the time to ask a company what their long-term goals are, how they succeed in their business process, what they do, what their employees do, their teams do on a day-by-day basis, affects what type of solution they might really want to consider implementing in their business. We have many customers that have embraced the cloud. That is something that we do. We have many customers that part of their business, because of what it does, makes sense in the cloud, and part of it ultimately doesn't. So at the end of the day, whether that's supporting a computer at the desktop from a help desk standpoint, to making sure that servers are up and running, companies can do what they need to do when they need to do it, whether that lies in the cloud or in their office or a little bit of both, doesn't matter. Again, it's about the tool. You can use many different tools to solve a particular problem, but different companies have different needs. So we take the time to ask those questions to really bring some sense to what their needs are.
One of the things that I've seen is that you guys spend not only a great deal of time up front understanding the system, whatever that, if you want to call it ecosystem of that business is, all the way to the end product, end implementation. But then once you've got this process going, you really, I want to say, hold the hand of the client along the way. And you've got people in your company that are set up just to do certain aspects with backup all the way. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, yes, I would agree. A couple things we're doing. I'll give you a great example. This morning I took a phone call from a prospect, someone who got my name, a referral from someone else. Ultimately, what we do on the front end, and we'll do for them as well, as an assessment. We want to make sure we understand what they're doing, how they operate. And then we plug them into our APPS model, APPS, Administration, Projects, Procurement, and Strategy, and make sure that as we go along, you talk about hand-holding. It's almost the hand-holding together, we're working together, but ultimately we want to make sure that we're administrating their networks appropriately, even working within their existing IT team. Projects go off smoothly. We have a full-time project manager. We have a full-time procurement manager for that portion. And then strategy, which is back to making sure we're communicating on an ongoing basis with that client. So I think that apps model is really what makes our success.
That's awesome. I know that when we come back from the break, I want to go into really the ideal client, who you're really trying to reach, how people can get a hold of you. Because as you said, technology is just everywhere. Everybody, you know, like while we've been sitting here, things have been changing. Where this show will end up, who knows? There's so much more to come. But with that, I want to say this has been the Business Spotlight. And I'm Pat Dewar. We're going to have so much more of the show. You're going to love it. My guests and the tools that are coming. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. My guest today, Michael Mays. Really excited to have Michael on the air because honestly, technology is such a fuzzy fog that nobody really understands it, and his company specializes in clearing the fog, maybe even collaborating with the client to create the success that they want. Would that be about right?
I would say that's on target.
Okay, so I want to get into who's your ideal client? Who are you guys really trying to reach?
Well, here at Networking Results, or NetRes, we like to be called NetRes as well, our real focus is on the companies. The more with less syndrome is here, thank goodness. It's a blessing in many ways. We want to make sure companies are getting the best return on their employees, on all the tools that they have. Technology is no different. So our best client are companies that want to make sure and return that best value on technology. It's not always about the cheapest price. It's actually about getting a return on that technology at the end game. Right. Sometimes that means spending a little bit more to take an investment that's going to last that much longer. To give an example, a company I'm working with right now called on us. They were another referral, called on us to help them with regard to a security issue. They were worried about the exposure of public relations, et cetera, if something were to happen. They didn't want to be in the limelight if something did occur. So we did analyze them. They did have some exposures. We very easily, it wasn't, I probably shouldn't say this, it wasn't magic. It was simply implementing some tools that made perfect sense for that solution. At the same time, we analyzed how they were operating productivity-wise, and with almost 100 employees, we saw that there were systems issues that very quickly we were able to address, and immediately, within 3 or 4 weeks' time, improved their technology performance. They were getting more productivity out of their existing employees, didn't have to increase them. It was an immediate return on their bottom line. So to answer your question, the companies I'm looking for, we're heavily focused in North Texas, but we reach well beyond that. We have clients that have offices in different parts of the world, but our heaviest focus is, in the United States. A lot of our work is done remotely through the internet, through technology. Mm-hmm. So we do
actually eat your own dog food.
We do eat our own dog food. We love that phrase too. We do eat our own dog food. But we're looking for those companies that do want to make sure their technology is providing that value, such that they're spending money on something, again, and it's overstated, but it's about value. It's bringing their employees to a point where their employees, most expensive line item they have, 99% of the time, that they're getting that productivity out of their employees.
Well, and you're unique about that. I mean, you personally are really unique in the focus that everything you do has the sight on the ROI.
Absolutely,
absolutely. Everything you do and everything you're presenting to a client is with the ROI in mind, so that they know there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train.
Let's hope not, right?
Yeah, well, but when you engage with somebody, what's the beginning process, and really, how do you want people to connect to you? I'll even ask you now on the show. How do you want people to connect to you, and then what's their experience from that step forward?
Well, how we initially engage with clients once they reached out to us is typically through the assessment I mentioned. We want to make sure and analyze what they have. In some cases, the right fit for us and the clients to say, you know what, we're not a fit, and let's refer you to someone that's going to be a better fit. That's phase one. As far as reaching out to us, our website is always available, obviously, technology again, at networkingresults.com. I can be reached at my phone number, 817-575-6230, extension 123. or on email, mmays, M-M-A-Y-E-S, at networkingresults.com. I prefer all of them because obviously it's whoever is contacting me, whatever makes the most sense for them. But ultimately, that assessment is so important. Nobody's the same as someone else. In fact, a 50-employee company in professional services is different than the next 50-employee company in professional services. So we want to treat every company as its own individual, analyze what makes sense for them, and again, as you said, it's over time. But I think one thing that is critical to remind our clients is that every 90 days, 180 days, whatever fits their need, we want to make sure and have what we call our business review meetings with them, get our head out of the weeds and just talk about how things are running. One, what are we doing well for them? We want to tell our team, hey, keep doing this. Okay, we got to ask the question, is there anything we could improve on? Tell us, please, because then we can improve on it. But thirdly, keeping clients in that communication process and keeping them abreast as technology does change is an important way to make them realize we have their best interests in mind every time, all the time, do what's right for the customer, no matter what.
Well, and that's your culture, though. I mean, that's something that you guys are really big on, is that you're going to do right by the customer, kind of even to your hurt. If that means defer, like you said earlier, or if whatever it takes, you're going to do right by them.
Absolutely, because again, living that creed, doing what's right the first time, every time. Yeah, you're going to lose some opportunities, but at the end of the day, you're going to serve your client the best, and they're going to tell everybody about it.
That's right, that's right. And I know you guys do a lot in referrals. Well, as we're coming up to the next break, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Mike, for being on the show. I would encourage you to get in touch with Net Results.
Networking Results.
Networking Results. And it's netres.com.
Networkingresults.com.
Networkingresults.com. Anyways, get in touch with Mike. He can kind of clear the fog, make you guys more productive or profitable. And that's really the key to the game. This is the Business Spotlight.